Yo, what's up? Welcome back to another episode of The Source. Weird night last night. They changed two starting pitchers on us last minute. If you have a book that voids those bets when that happens, which most books do, you finished up 0.9 units. If you don't and you got stuck with those bets, you finished negative 1.85. So depending on what kind of book you have, you finish slightly up or slightly down. To be fair, on the website it counted as 0 because it wasn't fair that some of us won and some people didn't. Today we are loaded. 16 MLB games. We got an NBA Finals game. Jermell Charlo defends his titles tonight. We got a UFC card. Tons of stuff to bet on. This video, I'm talking Suns-Bucks Game 5 in Phoenix.
Welcome to The Source. The Source. The Source. Hey, get the Source.
All right, like I said, Suns versus Bucks in Phoenix, Game 5. Series is tied 2-2. Line was Phoenix -4. All the bets and all the money on the Suns. And when I say all, I mean like 78, 79%. Checked it at 9 a.m. Checked it again around 11 a.m. Nothing had moved at all. So as expected, a large majority of the public on the Suns here. All right, so at first glance, common sense tells us that the Suns are the right side to bet in Game 5. They almost won Game 4. They probably should have won Game 4. And Chris Paul and Deandre Ayton both had the worst game of their playoffs, or one of the worst. That's how a majority of the public handicaps NBA games anyway. They look at the box score from the last game. Oh, well, so-and-so shot bad and so-and-so shot bad, so they should both shoot good. They try to play the law of averages, which is why the public gets smoked throughout the NBA regular season, because that method doesn't work. It usually doesn't work, I should say, because in the past 2 or 3 weeks, that method has been cashing. The public is winning almost every single NBA game during these finals and during the conference finals also. All right, real quick, what happened in Game 4? Everyone's talking about the Giannis block, the Chris Paul turnover, Chris Middleton, and Devin Booker and his foul situation, his weird foul situation. There you have it. I just summed up every single sports podcast for the last week right there in 3 sentences. Here are a few things people aren't talking about as much. Number 1, Deandre Ayton got exposed a little bit, and I thought this was common sense that he wasn't quite there yet, but a lot of people on Twitter putting him in the same conversation as Joel Embiid, Jokic, putting him up there with the top tier centers. Deandre Ayton has serious potential. I like him. I don't want to make it sound like I'm dissing the guy, but come on, he gets the ball 7 feet from the basket. I mean, whether it's because of Chris Paul and Devin Booker, whether it's because of the ball movement, or whether because he's the number 3 or number 4 scoring option on the team in reality, he gets the ball 7 feet from the basket. I want you to watch and see how hard it is for Embiid, Jokic, or even like Vucevic, even a guy like Vucevic, how hard it is for them to get the ball 7 feet from the basket. They have to work their ass off. As soon as they get within 10 feet, automatic deny ball. Some of them get double teamed without the ball. Basically, what I mean by that is Deandre Ayton, these monster stat lines he's been putting up this playoffs, they're definitely inflated because, I mean, all the attention's on Devin Booker, on Chris Paul, on the outside shooting. Ayton's getting the ball 7 feet from the basket. I mean, he's wide open dunks and layups or little 6-footers. Another thing that concerns me with the Phoenix Suns is Chris Paul, and I know everyone's talking about that turnover. Oh my God. The man tried to do like a double crossover, and actually if he pulled it off, it would have been like a nice 12-foot fall away jump shot, that mid-range shot he always does, but he fell right on his ass, gave the game away. But that's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about Chris Paul progressing through this series. If you notice, the Bucks are taking Drew Holiday and they're running him all the way up the court pretty often. They have Drew Holiday guarding Chris Paul for 95 feet. Making him work just to get the ball past half court. Now, you might think that's not really a big deal. It's Chris Paul, he can handle it, and for the most part he can, but what does that do? That makes it really hard for Phoenix to run their offense through Chris Paul. He passes it off a lot, or just the discomfort makes it difficult to run their basic offensive sets. I mean, look at his numbers, 5 for 13, 10.7 assists. Now, at quick glance, you might be like, all right, well, that's bad, but that's not that bad, 10.7 assists. He played 37 minutes. If your point guard, who's supposed to be one of the stars of your team, plays 37 minutes and only has 10 points and 7 assists, oh yeah, and 5 turnovers, 15 turnovers in the last 3 games, that's a problem. Basically, Drew Holiday on the defensive end is just beating Chris Paul down. Not just Drew Holiday, let's give some credit to Jeff Teague as well, who's doing it off the bench a little bit, but mostly Drew Holiday running Chris Paul up and down the court, making him uncomfortable as hell in this series. Basically, Holiday is just showing us how 36 years old Chris Paul really is. All right, last point I want to make, number 3. This one has me concerned to bet the Bucks. Look at game 4. Let's look at the last 7 minutes, right? Suns are up 2, 7 minutes to go. In those final 7 minutes, Giannis is almost non-existent on the offensive side of the ball. On the offensive side, he's playing his ass off on defense, but almost non-existent on the offensive side of the ball. Now, Middleton couldn't miss a goddamn shot, so all is well, Milwaukee prevailed, but there's a serious question we need answered here. Was Giannis not involved in the offense in the final 7 minutes because Middleton was so hot and they were just letting him cook in those ISO looks? Or is he not involved in the final 7 minutes because they are that afraid of him getting fouled and going to the free throw line? That's a serious question, man, because what if he isn't hot in game 5? Shit, what if he wasn't hot in game 4? They probably would have lost. Are they that afraid of Giannis free throws? Or was it just, you know what, our boy Middleton's hot, let's keep giving him the ball? So what am I betting in this game? Well, you all know how I feel about these NBA playoffs. They're very coin flip-ish. There's not much value on either side. We bet it because it's fun, because we're going to be watching, so why not bet it? But there's more value in a sport like baseball or any sport that has a full slate of games right now. Anyway, I refuse to just side with the obvious pick that every single person in the country is betting. I know it's been cashing recently, but that's not how to win long-term in this business. So I'm going to stick to what has worked for me for years. I'm going to fade the public. I'm going to take the Bucks. I'm going to take the 4 points, and I'm going to bet the money line. Let's go Milwaukee. Bucks with the road upset. If anything changes, Twitter, Instagram, nothing's going to change. We're going Bucks. VIP sheets, I'm sending out 2 today. First one's around 1:30, 2 p.m. Eastern time. That'll have the afternoon MLB games on it, an early ticket. Then the second VIP sheet that has all the rest of the MLB games on it. Also the NBA total and the props for the game 5 tonight. That'll be sent out around 5 p.m. Eastern time. Check your phones and text. Bet responsibly tonight. Spread your units out. You know how we do it. Long-term profits. Big Saturday. I'll talk to you on Twitter.